Imagine standing at home plate in a baseball game. You are completely exhausted, you don't want to play anymore, and every fiber of your being is screaming at you to leave. But you stay. You keep swinging. Why? Because you are already on the field, your teammates and coach are benefiting from your performance, and you have fallen under the dangerous illusion that you have no choice but to finish the game. This is a vivid image that came up during a recent one-to-one session with a client. It perfectly illustrates a structural trap that countless sensitives, empaths, and cycle breakers live out every single day. The belief that you are trapped in situations simply because you simply showed up. We treat our lives like a series of mandatory obligations, most of which we don't even really know or remember how we got ourselves into. Before you can really read anyone else, you must first learn to read yourself. And when you look closely at this specific flavor of exhaustion, you realize it has almost nothing to do with the present time game you are playing. It is a mechanical conditioning running on autopilot from your past. The good girl script and premature maturity. When I look at this sense of disempowerment, I almost always find a heavy layer of maternal conditioning sitting in the aura. Many intuitive children grow up with an innate, deep understanding of how life should be. When their childhood reality fails to match that internal knowing, they are forced to develop a premature maturity just to survive. They end up parenting the adults around them, overriding their own needs to act as the good girl or the peacemaker who keeps everyone happy. This conditioning trains you to be a master of the Mitwelt, the relational world of social maneuvering and crowdsourced validation. You become highly skilled at reading the room, managing other people's emotional survival, and adapting your vibration to fit the group's needs. But as the psychological framework of Ichiro Kishimi outlines, prioritizing the expectations of others to avoid disapproval is a recipe for immense internal containment. It forces you into a transactional existence where love and worth must be earned through constant performance. You become a socialized commodity, nodding to keep the peace while suffocating your own authentic desires. You stay on the baseball field because your conditioning whispers that walking away makes you bad. The unrealized life, entity mechanics. There is an even darker consequence to running this porous, performance-based energy. You leave your house wide open for foreign occupants. During this same session, we identified and cleared a persistent negative entity that had been lingering in the client's space for over 10 years. This entity wasn't some cartoonish demon. It was a fragment carrying the immense pain of an unrealized life. Because the client's internal space was cluttered with maternal programming and self-doubt, this entity hitched a ride, silently experiencing life through the client's field and projecting its own paralyzing fear of failure onto them. In her foundational manual Psychic Self-Defense, the practical occultist Diane Fortune noted that foreign entities and parasitic thought forms cannot attach to a clean, self-referencing perimeter. They require a corresponding frequency of unexpressed grief or unworthiness to anchor themselves into your chakras. When you don't claim the master's chair in your own head, an unexamined force will happily jump into it and start running your space. Clearing this kind of interference requires a radical reclamation of your seniority. It means systematically disconnecting the parasite from your space, routing it back to a higher source, and purifying the vessel of yourself. Reclaiming the solo ocean. The antidote to the exhausting baseball game is a complete shift in your energetic environment. In our session, this transformation looked like moving from the baseball diamond to the open ocean, transitioning into a pure, solo surfer vibration. When you surf, you are your own coach and your own team. You are completely attuned to the present time environment, operating in a state of effortless flow, mushin. You stop forcing energy, you stop trying to please the crowd, and you reclaim the deep, rich primary blue color of your own sovereign spirit. Your life is not left to fate or the manipulation of external scripts. The moment you step into your absolute individual freedom, you realize that true love isn't something you earn through performance. It is simply the space where you are permitted to be your absolute, unedited self. Weekly reading exercise. The internal seating audit pair. Up with a reading partner this week. Or, in your own clairvoyant meditation practice, use your tools of discerning and focus them on the difference between the true self and a dominant subpersonality. You can also ask these questions in a reading with a psychic. Book a session with me if you want to look at these things together. Checking the driver's seat. Look directly at the sixth chakra, the center of the head. Who or what is currently occupying that space? Is it your pristine, present time awareness? Or is it an old, good girl subpersonality trying to earn worthiness through performance? The Legacy Attachment Scan. Scan the perimeter of the aura and the back of the chakras for the signature of an unexpressed foreign entity or ancestral thought form. Notice if there is a lingering frequency of an unrealized life that is feeding off your personal vitality. The Filter Scan. Look at how this subpersonality or foreign energy is filtering your perception of your current career or relationships. What color or texture is it casting over your reality? Notice if it is creating a false picture of being trapped on a field you want to leave. Healing Focus. Give a healing on the seat of awareness and the outer lines of the aura. Help gently ask the performance parts to step down from the control booth. Use your tools to sever any cords to long-standing entity attachments, routing them out of your space and restoring the clear, quiet authority of the true self. One small step, dropping the bat. The next time you find yourself sitting in a meeting, a conversation, or an obligation feeling completely drained and trapped by the illusion of consistency, hit the pause button. Stop trying to manage the expectations of the room for 2 minutes. Step back into the center of your head. Conduct a roll call. Ask your space. Am I staying here because I want to be here? Or am I playing the good girl for the coach and teammates? Create separation. Ground your first chakra firmly into the earth. Mentally state to the situation, I am allowed to walk off this field. Notice if your shoulders drop and your chest immediately clears. Journaling prompts for deep integration. The Servant's Audit. Where in your current life are you maintaining a false persona of perfect, unyielding compliance just to keep the peace and prevent others from judging you? The Premature Maturity Trap. Did you have to parent the adults around you during your childhood? How is that old survival loop still driving you to treat your current professional or personal relationships as mandatory rescue missions? Redefining the game. If real love and success are not transactional awards earned through struggle, what current obligation or baseball game would you immediately walk away from tomorrow? The hard truth of energetic mechanics is simple. You cannot alter, command, or manifest physical reality from a space outside of your physical vessel. Attempting to manifest your dream life while ungrounded is exactly like trying to drive a sedan while sitting strapped to the roof rack. You might see the road beautifully, but you cannot reach the pedals or turn the wheel. To take control of your life, you have to get back into the center of your head and grab the wheel. From insight to integration, a blog post can spark a revelation, but a practice builds a life. Information without practical application is just nice ideas and doesn't create meaningful growth and change. If the concepts of energetic anatomy, self-remembering, and dynamic boundaries resonate with you, let's take them off the screen and into your daily routine. Join a study group to access the complete library of tools, meditations, and techniques designed to help you run your own energy with absolute precision. Click here to learn more about upcoming study groups. For over 25 years, I have been driven by a single, uncompromising objective: to strip the illusion out of the unseen world and hand total energetic autonomy back to the individual. My work, both in high-fidelity private sessions and study groups, is to help build your own psychic capacity to interface with your lived experience cleanly, autonomously, and without dogma using your inherent spiritual and intuitive gifts. Book a session,